mass illegal migration is bad. I think mass migration net is also bad for the United States. Foreign-born population is far too high. We need a long period of a strong social safety net policy. And I firmly believe that overall, that this type of unmitigated control and all that actually does a great disservice to people like my family and others who came to the country legally, and it is an unfair policy.
You had the ability to.
Yeah.
And your family had the money
That's right.
to.
That's right.
And
that's
Saagar can tell you his poor man origin story.
Yeah.
And your family had the money
That's right.
to.
That's right.
And
yes.
that's
not unfair.
How is that fair? How is that fair that because you had the resources to do it and you happen to be from a country where there was a possibility of getting in, that you're able to?
Well, first of all, nobody owes anybody. So in terms of policy, it makes sense that you probably want people who are higher skilled, who already speak English, and who are well educated, so they can more firmly and easily fit into the overall economy. That's number one.
This is just straight up classist, ridiculous. I told you that's what it is, guys. It is. His allegiance is to the international wealthy. Right. And so he basically, Saagar grew up in Texas. I'm sure he's talked about this shit on his podcast before. I'm like, bro, you grew up nice, bro. You know, you care about what kind of suits you're wearing. OK, that's not how broke boys grow up. All right. I'm sorry. That's just the reality of it. Oh, my family immigrated here with extreme wealth and opulence. It's like anybody could do it if they're from extreme wealth and opulence. And that's where his allegiance is. He doesn't have a problem if rich guys make a bunch of money in Mexico City and come and immigrate here. He's like, oh yeah, those are the people that we want, the people with skills, it's just straight up racism, classism, an idea that, people who are like me and similar to me have value, and people who are unlike me and, who have less than me are less valuable. It's so explicit right here. This is disgusting. This is disgusting from Saagar. That.
Yeah. And also it's like, if I was in control of immigration, I would give priority to the people who actually are fleeing violence, who actually are coming from deeply impoverished or war-torn countries, over people like Saagar's family, who I'm sure are nice people, but clearly they weren't fleeing violence. Clearly they were doing okay. They just chose to come here because they wanted to, right? But no, I actually would give priority to people that actually need to come to America, not just people that want to come to America. Because then you're just creating a system where it's only the super rich that are able to immigrate anywhere, and everyone else is just fucked.
That's what they want, though.
Yeah, that is exactly what they want. But it's just really telling because, in my opinion, the whole point of immigrating, the whole point of seeking asylum is because you have to. It's because the place where you're coming from is no longer livable, or you no longer have the ability to make a living there. Hence, you come to America. I don't really understand this ideology and how it could be construed as anything other than just insane classism.
And he's proud of it too. That's what's crazy. He's like, this is bro. I mean, you ever wonder who Saagar kicks it with when he's off air? I'm like, bro, what? Because Saagar's considered the lefty of his group. Okay, or I wonder what kind of gems this guy's throwing old fashions back with at the old whiskey parlor.
Difference, and then I don't think anybody has a right to come here.
So
and in fact, my net is that nobody has a right.
Here's what I would say.
Yeah,
I do think mass illegal migration.
It's crazy. Nobody has a right to come here.
Except for his parents.
Or us or anybody else that already got shot out here, right? Yeah. I'm just like, what the man? It's so self-serving. Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm going to pretend that history started today and that I don't everybody else that's not here. We've already done enough. And it's like, no, dude. We have military bases all over the world. The narrowness of the worldview. It's just like looking at the entire world through the explicit, not even having any shame or having to disguise it at all. Just looking at the world 100% through the narrow interest of America, and particularly wealthy, affluent Americans, and then pretending that you're some weird soldier for working poor people, which you absolutely have no idea about at all. That's the shallowness of the Republican Party at this age. And what's crazy, Gavin, is those guys are beating our fucking ass at recruiting. The Bernie Bro pipeline dried up, and now they're all little Saagar Enjetis.
Is a problem.
Yes.
Not knowing who's coming in, having chaos at the border, having people who are being paid under the table, and who could, because they're working in the shadows, that can depress wages, no doubt. That is for sure an issue. Having a significant level of legal migration where people have a path where you can put the requirement, okay, they have to speak English or whatever. I think that is net, and throughout history has shown to be net beneficial to America. I think it's a core part of why America has been as, economically successful and as vibrant and thriving and innovative as it has been throughout history. So I just, and there isn't evidence that legal immigrants negatively impact wages for anyone, as I said before. So as a population, they tend to be overall more law-abiding. That's what the numbers show. Tend to be some of the hardest working people in the entire country. And actually, oftentimes tend to have a lot of conservative values that Republicans are excited to, crow about and try to win over when it's convenient for them politically.
No question. You're right. I think immigration has obviously been a net positive to America. Wouldn't be here without it.
Yeah.
Throughout the past. But I would also, again, I would say that periods of great migration were also followed by periods of great shutdowns. And I think there was deep wisdom in that because it allowed for assimilation.
Deep wisdom in the Chinese
benefit of that industrial.
Deep wisdom in which restrictions, Saagar? Which ones? Let's go ahead and pick through the history book. You find one that's not racist as all. Oh, then we need to shut down the border. Let's just, I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. Let's ban everyone from Muslim countries. Boy, that sounds like a great. Hey, it's just a practical matter of American affairs, everyone. Listen, this has nothing to do with their religion. We're just explicitly discriminating them against them because of that's specific. Well, it's only Muslim majority. Well, you see, it's a regional. And also anybody that's from the south of America, yeah, good luck getting in this country. Yeah, it literally, he's just saying that. He's like, and I guarantee you, he would have brought up the late 1800s, like up until leading up to the turn of the 20th century. That's the Chinese Exclusion Act.
Before we had overall changes to our laws, the Immigration and Naturalization Act of 1965, which by and large has not changed, and I think dramatically should change. We currently have a chain migration-based system where if you happen to have a relative here, it's easier to migrate, which is nuts because it also be merit-based, which is what I support.
I don't think that's nuts. I think it makes sense that if you have, this is again like a trajectory.
Bro, I got an idea. Let's make everyone take math tests, right? I know. All the rich kids from rich countries, they're going to be able to pass. And all the poor kids from poor countries that have never touched a calculator before, well, they're going to struggle to do these, complex equations. They've never heard of sine, cosine, and tangent. But what I know is that to be a valuable citizen, that's what you need to know. You need to know the quadratic formula. Otherwise, I don't know if I can be your brother as an American. Like, what the are you talking about? It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. This is the same dude that will, in a completely separate episode, talk about how we're not going to have enough people to take care of the elderly in like 5 years, and he'll fearmonger about that. And then it's like, oh yeah, nobody from these generations wants to do that. Oh well, we got to make sure we still keep out all this workforce that's desperate to take on that job. Like, what? It's talking out of both sides of your mouth. That's what the entire conservative party does, though.
Tradition in America is if people who are in your family come and then they sort of set up and then you have a support system that
just
you can come and tie into.
It's good.
I think to me it makes some sense.
Sure. Look, it has its proponents. That's why it's been the law of the land for the last 50 years. What I would say is I think we should move like Australia, Canada, and many other Western developed countries to a dramatically merit-based immigration system with a point-based in terms of the criteria that we've talked about, being able to speak English, etc. But that belies the fact that it's not going to be fair. It's not fair because immigration shouldn't be fair.
We literally explicitly have not established English as the national language to avoid bullshit like having English literacy requirements in order to get into the country. But Saagar doesn't care about that. Apparently, he wants to abolish that. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, bro. Because I guarantee you, he'd be like, well, if you're rich enough, you can still come to America. Just hire a translator, right? So it's like all of these problems that he's going to list out. I guarantee you, he would be like, well, if you bring affluence, we'll do it. That's what Republicans always do. And it's 100% massively skewed towards people from affluent backgrounds, and it will keep 100% of the poor people out. Because no matter what metric you want to choose that's like objective or merit-based, none of it is. It's all,
Yeah. By merit, he means money.
Or access to things, learned skills, right? You know what I mean? All of that shit.
Yeah. A lot of the immigrants, though, are doing the shit that Americans won't, as I said. So that's merit. They're taking jobs we don't want to take.
100%. And or we were talking, there's a number of things. Caretakers, rebuilding the roads, doing all the stuff that people aren't doing now that people consider less than them, And I don't know. It's a
Yeah.
scapegoat. It's disappointing to see a guy like Saagar fall so far for that, or fall so hard for that. You know what I mean?